now we got the FAQ for Seraphon. So let's see what happened. What did they nerf? What did they buff? What did they change for our battle tome for Seraphon? FAQ's out. Designer commentary's out. So now we get the real rules for Seraphon. Let's see what happened. We're going to go through some of the FAQ, kind of talk quickly about what that does to our army, what it changes, and what does that look like. First, I'm going to turn off my phone. How about that? So the first change we got, it's on the Sage's Staff. This is one of those sacred astrums, the constellation things that you used to pick for the salon that you get 3 from now. All it's doing is we're changing the Sage's Staff to, at the start of the hero phase, pick 1 friendly Seraphon wizard. All this is making it to where it's at the start of the hero phase, where before it said in the hero phase. So you could change it theoretically in it, but there was no actual way to do that. But it's just kind of clearing up some rules that this happens at the start instead of some other place. Second one, Dracothian's Tail. This is kind of the same thing where all it's doing is just redefining when this happens. So instead of setting up a friendly Dracothian's Tail unit in the battlefield, before the battle begins, you can place it to one side and say that it's set up waiting to appear at command as a reserve unit. So the only changes I saw was that it's before the battle begins. So just kind of clearing up some language there of when you're actually setting these things to the side. Another rule. This one's a big one. This one will affect it if you've been playing Fangs of Sotek. So the big thing for Fangs of Sotek is if you've got that parting shot for the skink units, you spend a command point in the enemy's charge phase, and you get to shoot again. So they're clearing that up. So we're going to change that rule to you can use this command ability when an enemy unit ends a charge move within 3 inches of the friendly Fangs of Sotek unit from the Skinks or Chameleon Skinks War Scroll that's wholly within 18 of a friendly Fangs of Sotek hero. If you do so, that unit can shoot. After you've resolved all that unit's shooting attacks, roll a dice. On a 4-up, that unit must retreat but cannot run. A unit cannot benefit from this command ability more than once per phase. So I think this is the big one in the FAQ section that we got to look at, because Fangs is pretty powerful. You get to shoot in a different phase. Anytime you get to do something out of phase, it's always nice. They've changed it to where it's only if you're being charged. So you can only use this if an enemy unit ends a charge move within 3 inches of one of those skinks. So it's still useful. I think it's still going to see a lot of play because it's still, in Fangs, you're going to have big hordes of skinks. So those are going to get charged and you're going to have them buffed up and they're going to get to shoot again. So I think it's still useful. It's just not quite as cheap as it used to be, where it was just, guess what? In your charge phase, I'm going to shoot, and you can't do anything about it. So now they do actually have to charge you, so it makes it a little bit tougher to get off, but I think it's still pretty powerful. The one thing I don't like in this rule now is after you do so, the unit can shoot, or after the unit's shot, you roll a dice. On a 4-up, the unit must retreat, but cannot run. In the actual battle tome, it said the unit can retreat. So I've played this list a couple times with Fangs, and there's been more than one time where I don't want them to run. I don't want them out of combat. I want them to take the blow and protect the support units behind them. Because if you've got this horde, you're going to have skink priests in close vicinity of them, and you don't want these guys running too far away and putting those skink priests in harm's danger. So it's going to be hard to get these guys out of combat distance because the enemy's going to be able to charge in 3 and then still hit. So you've got to move back at least probably 4 or 5 inches. And so be cognizant of that where you place your skink priest and your skink star priest, because you don't want them to be so close that when you retreat that guy, if you have to, if you roll a 4-up, that all of a sudden those heroes are in danger. So little important rule there. It went from you can retreat to you must retreat. Interesting. The next one, Reproductive Chief. This one we kind of saw coming, but we didn't want to happen. The same unit cannot benefit from this command ability more than once per phase. So Reproductive Chief has an ability where he can give all the Reproductiles in a certain range an extra attack. And so previously that was stackable. And that was really the only way I think that you could make Reproductiles viable. they're still okay. You can still get a decent number of shots if you really put your effort into it. But this Reproductive Chief had a place in the army if he could stack up all those command points. So now you can't do that. I don't think we'll be seeing too many Reproductals other than those that already have them built. Many of us do, so you might be slotting them in if you just want to try them out. I do think Pterodons are the better option. I probably won't be playing either. I think in Fangs you get a lot more, a little bit more flexibility out of the Skinks and kind of building towards that shooting ability. Next one, Stegodon damage table. They're just cleaning up an error they had. It's the wounds suffered in the bracket. They had 9 twice, so it's just going to 7 and 8. So on the next one, Stegodon description. If this model includes a Skink Chief, the Stegodon becomes the mount's models, or the model's mount. They had some word trouble there between the Stegodon and the Engine of the God. They couldn't figure out who was going to be the mount and who was going to be the hero and who's going to be the crew. So they've kind of cleared that up. As we expected, the Stegodon is actually the mount in both cases, and your little skink guys that are riding on top are the crew. The Skink Priest or the Skink Chief is the hero. Weirdly, the Engine of the God, even though he has a Skink Priest as the hero, you don't get the Skink Priest keyword. That would have been nice, but we don't get that. So that just kind of clears up that. And this last one under the FAQ is one of my favorites. You cannot cast a Balewind if you're already on a Balewind. So you can't cast a bound Balewind if you're standing on a normal Balewind, and vice versa. So they have that in the designer commentary we'll get to in a second. You can't take a bound version of the same spell and a normal version. So that counts here too. You can't cast a Balewind on top of another one. Also, I think this one actually may address that you do need to have 9 wounds or less. So no putting a Troglodon on top of it. So that helps. So that's the FAQ. We got a little bit of designer commentary to look at also for our updates. So we'll start here with these designer commentaries. Can a Salon or Oracle carry out more than one Celestial Conjuration in the same hero phase? The answer is no. So they had a little bit of wording issue where some people thought you could turn more than one spell per hero into conjuration points. So you can't. So the most you're getting is D3 per wizard, per Salon or Oracle, plus D3 for a Salon being your general, and D3 for your Astrolith banner. So played it a couple times, and it's hit or miss. I've had one game where I summoned in 20 skinks turn 2, and I've had another game where it was turn 3, and all I could get was 1 unit of skinks. So it's not something that you can plan around. Now summoning is just kind of a buff. So don't go in planning to summon a bunch of stuff. But if it happens, yay. Use it to your advantage, but don't plan on it because it's hard to plan around. Next one. Can a Seraphon army take endless spells from Alliance Sorcery and bound endless spells as part of the same army? Yes. So you can take both kinds of spells. This one right here got my blood going. Yes. Until I read the next one. If the answer to the above is yes, can a Seraphon army take the same endless spell model twice in the pitch battle? For example, can I take a Purple Sun of Shaiish and a bound Purple Sun of Shaiish in the same army? No. This one had a lot of fun possibilities. Taking a bound version of a spell and a normal version, but that is no longer allowed. Even though they have different war scrolls, different point costs, that is not allowed. Next one. Can I use a Fangs of Sotek command ability, Parting Shot, on any Fangs of Sotek unit with the Skink or Skinks keyword? No. You can only use the command ability on a unit from the Skinks War Scroll or Chameleon Skinks War Scroll. So this one, it's just kind of reiterates, make sure that people aren't using it to fire the Bastiladon twice or fire a Stegodon twice or I don't know what else. Anything. There's lots of worded keyworded skinks, so that just kind of makes it clear that it's skinks or chameleon skinks. So next one, does the Coalesce battle trait Scaly Skin apply to mortal wounds? No. This one hurt me right here. This one hurt me. I really like that Coalesce battle trait Scaly Skin, where you're reducing damage by 1 for all the attacks that come into you. This was good. I liked it. This was so good. This really negated a lot of spells, mortal shootings that would come in, any charges that are being slammed into you that did D3. This would reduce that by 1, but not anymore. Now it's only just normal attacks that come at you are reduced by 1. So anything that does mortals, go straight through. So it makes Coalesce a little bit weaker. I think they're still good. I think Thunderquake with some Bastiladons, which we'll get to in a minute, is still pretty good. But that Coalesced, that's a hard one to swallow. It doesn't apply to mortal wounds. Man. Question. Ooh, Realm Shaper Engine. They're going to fix Realm Shaper Engine, right? Question. Can enemy units garrison a Realm Shaper Engine? Yes. What? Why? So they didn't actually do anything to help with that. That was basically the only one that had to do with the Realm Shaper Engine. They have another one about endless spells and Realm Shaper Engines, but that was it. That was the only clarification of rules. So we still have this terrain piece that we have to set up before anything else is set up, and then we roll for sides. So either you're putting it in the middle as just something to block the way, something to get in the way, but that the enemy can still garrison in, or you're putting it on one side and you're taking a 50-50 shot that you don't even get it. So it's a cool model. It's probably not going to see the table very often. I'd be surprised if you see too many people playing with it, just because why put something out there that you have a good chance of not getting to use and your enemy can benefit from it? I don't know. I'd save your money and buy some salamanders. Can I cast endless spells with a friendly Seraphon wizard that is garrisoned in a Realm Shaper Engine? Yes. So you can cast endless spells while you're in the Realm Shaper Engine, while you're garrisoned in the pyramid. If you happen to take it, if it ends up on your side, and if you get into it, you can cast spells from it. Cool. Next one, if the answer to the above is yes, what happens if an endless spell is a Balewind Vortex? So this answers the question of, if I'm in the Realm Shaper Engine and I cast a Balewind Vortex, am I just on the Balewind in that pyramid? The Balewind Vortex model is set up within 1 of the Realm Shaper Engine and more than 3 from any enemy model. The caster is then removed from the garrison and placed on top of the Balewind Vortex model. So, short answer, no. You can cast it, but you can't stay in the garrison on top of a Balewind Vortex. Okay. The chances of that happening were probably pretty slim. I mean, literally a 50-50 shot you'd even get a chance to do that if you placed it in your terrain. Next question. Can you explain how Predatory Endless spells are moved at the start of a battle round if a Seraphon-bound Endless spell and Ossiarch Bone Reaper Soul-linked Endless spells are on the battlefield? The players roll off and the winner moves their relevant Endless spells first. So that just clears up a conflict of who gets to move their Endless spells first, because Seraphon-bound spells can only be moved by us. Bone Reaper Soul-linked Endless spells can only be moved by Bone Reapers. So you roll off and whoever wins gets to move them. The last question for designer commentary. This one we had many internet debates about. How does the Ren characteristic of attacks interact with the Bastiladon while it has a 1-up save characteristic? Alright, are you ready for this answer? An unmodified save roll of a 1 always fails. When a save roll is modified by the Ren characteristic of an attack, it can never be modified to less than 1. When a model has a save characteristic of 1 plus, modified save rolls of 1 are successfully saved. This means while a Bastiladon has a save characteristic of 1 plus, only unmodified save rolls of 1 will inflict damage regardless of the Ren characteristics of the weapon used for the attack. Got that? Basically, for the first 3 wounds, Ren doesn't matter. It's only going to fail on a 1. After you get 3 wounds through the Bastiladon, then he'll take Ren. So, such a weird mechanic. Why are we introducing 1-up saves? I don't know. I'm gonna take the Bastiladons because I love them. I have 3 of them. They're a lot of fun. They're pretty good in Thunderquake now. You can get them healed up. You can get them firing twice. You can make them run and shoot. So they're pretty versatile, I think, in Thunderquake. So you are going to see quite a few of them. So get used to explaining this rule to your opponent. Especially when they're pouring a bunch of attacks into it and you're saying, well, only the unmodified ones fail until the next time you attack. So it's really not that hard to beat. You know, if you put some mortal wounds into them, then you can start rending them, and it'll take all the rend. I mean, it'd still be a 2-up save, so it's still tough, but it will go down. I've played a couple games with it and lost a couple of them by now, so they are killable. They are tough though, and they have long range, so get used to seeing those. One trick, now that this has been clarified, nothing changed, we can kind of start planning around Bastildons having that save. One trick I saw from Darren Watson was he had mentioned the penumbral engine is the true Seraphon terrain piece, because you know that thing you can actually place on your side of the table, and it's going to either give you a command point if you want it to every turn, so it'll make up its points that way, or if you flip it the other way, or if it gets flipped the other way, it'll reroll save rolls of 1. So camp your 2, 3, or 4 if you're crazy Bastildons around this thing. It has a 12-inch bubble, and now your Bastildons only fail on 1-ups, but you're re-rolling those. So keep a hero nearby, heal up the ones that get hurt, and you've got basically, what is that, a 36-inch turret of Bastildons that are 1-up re-rolling. So might have to find me a penumbral engine. So if you want to make your friends really mad at you, that's what you do. All right, that was our FAQs and our designer commentaries. I think Coalesce took a little bit of a hit with the scaly skin. Fangs of Sotek took a little bit of a hit. We were expecting that. I think it's still pretty good. I think both of them are still pretty good. I think you can get a lot of mileage out of whatever faction you go with. Some of the notable things that didn't get changed, your Reproductives your Razordons can still fire if you charge. So that one stayed there. It just says in the charge phase. So if you charge in your Razordons, you can fire them. That's kind of cool. Salamanders stayed, so they're still amazing. But either buy those terrible looking models or figure out a way to make your own out of some official GW stuff. Maybe some Cold One mounts or something. Put some fins on them. I don't know. Those models look terrible, though. The Salamander models look terrible. So Salamander stayed the same. Croak is still pretty sweet. So overall, we still got a lot of tools to play with. So I think the FAQ cleared up quite a bit. We took a hit from Coalesce and a little hit from Fangs, but overall, I think we did all right. So have fun, guys. Post some Seraphon content. I need me some Seraphon content. All right. Catch y'all later.